St. Cloud State University, hosted by Chris Wagner on the internet. I'm your host, Chris Wagner, and today we have a special topic at hand: the use of images, audio, and video in mass communications. I think it's only fitting to have this topic this week because it is our first video blog post. Let's get started. According to visual journalist Colin Mulvaney, being able to capture fleeting moments is what separates the professional photojournalist from the amateur photographer. I like this quote because I very much agree with it. Digital cameras are so easy to come by, and everyone who has one thinks they're a photographer. But when I look at pictures online, especially on Facebook, it's easy to tell which ones are done professionally, or at least by someone with a little bit of photography skill, and which ones were just taken by some schmuck with a camera. Photography is also about more than simply making a picture look good. The photographer has to be able to make the subject of the picture feel comfortable. The subject needs to feel relaxed and trusting of the photographer while still acting naturally. The age of digital photography has also brought up other issues. While with so many people out there taking pictures and uploading them to the internet, the act of borrowing images without permission has increased. I actually have some personal experience in this area. A couple years ago, my friends and I started a website to chronicle and promote our airsoft activities. The website is airhardhq.com if you'd like to check it out. Anyway, I made a logo for the site using an image of crosshairs that I got off of Google Images. After having the website up for quite a while, my friend, who is actually the official owner of the website, received a letter in the mail saying that if the stolen images were not removed, legal action would be taken. Needless to say, we got rid of the old logo and replaced it with a banner made completely by us. The next topic I would like to cover is the use of audio, especially in journalism. Briggs uses a quote from a blogger that says, "I've shocked people by telling them that as a baseball fan, I would much rather listen to a radio broadcast of a game with a good announcer than watch the game on television. The reason? Video cameras are too confining. They do not give me the picture of the whole field or even a significant portion of it. If I am listening to it, however, I can see everything, and the experience is much more enjoyable and fulfilling." As a sports fan, I tend to agree, also because TV sports announcers are awful. Having only the audio allows you to use your imagination and visualize the entire experience without having it laid out in front of you. It was also interesting that even though recorded interviews are the most popular form of audio journalism, they're also usually pretty boring. To help people make their interviews better, the book gives some pointers, which I will now try to employ with the following interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome a special guest to the video, Mr. Chris Wagner. Hey Chris, how you doing? Welcome, thanks for joining us. No problem, glad to be here. Good. As you know, we're here on the show talking about audio journalism and how to make a recorded interview a little more interesting for the listeners. Of course. Well, that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today and see if we're doing a good job of it. First off, is location choice. Does the location of the interview that I've chosen make you comfortable and willing to speak freely? Well, I mean, this is my bedroom, so yeah, I don't think I can really feel much more comfortable than this. I'd say your location choice is spot on. Wonderful. Alright, the next tip is to record some natural sounds so that the audience can better understand where we are when we're doing this interview. Well then, let's go ahead and do that right now then, shall we? We shall. I think that went well. Indeed. Alright, well then, the next tip is to prepare the interviewee before the interview. Now Chris, did you feel prepared before we started this interview? Well, I mean, I am the one who created this whole interview, so I'd have to say, of course I'm prepared. Chris, you witty son of a... Whoa, Chris, you almost forgot the last tip. Oh, shucks, of course. Always watch what you say. Certainly. Well, Chris, thanks for taking time out and coming in here to talk with us today. We'd love to have you back sometime. Well, it's sure been a pleasure, and I'm sure you'll see me again. Alright. Okay then. Finally, we have the subject of video journalism. Video is very similar to photography in the sense that both have become very accessible to people. Most digital cameras have a video function, and even many camera phones have video capabilities. One thing I found very interesting and shocking is that in 2009, 20 hours of video were uploaded to YouTube every minute. Wow! And I'm sure that number is only going up now. One thing that was discussed about video that I found particularly interesting was the use of storyboarding. As a student of advertising, I try to take the information that we learn about, even if it's about journalism, and relate it to advertising. Storyboarding is actually something I'm very familiar with, as I have used it to create television ads without actually producing the ads. But I never really heard of it used in journalism. Like with advertising, journalists can use storyboarding as a way of focusing their story's message. It is also good because it's not written in stone and can serve as a good, flexible outline for a project. Well, that's about it for me. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you back here next week, same time, same place, for more riveting discussion on media convergence. Well, that's kind of what I want to talk to you about today.